right. 9:20, let's call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Amy McLaren. Here. Jeff Gillis.
Here.
Cale Thompson. Paul Arsberger.
Here.
Dan Parr.
Here.
Conrad Moore.
Here.
Henrik Offenstein. Paula Mendez. Here. Cy Maroon. Cindy Gross. Here. Simon Grimm. Josh Gray. Ty Livingston.
Here.
Brett Tucker.
Here.
Mark Lee.
Here.
Dustin Sutton. Dennis Carr. John Oliphant.
Here.
Patrick Meyer.
Here.
Dan Ford.
Here.
Karen Dvorsky. Inga Kreider. Here. Charles Hess. Greg Loudermilk.
Here.
Josh Harkin.
Here.
LP Cheney. Kobe Kissa. Shamla Robinson. Eric Miller.
Here.
Andrew Bay. Here. Gene Olson. Can the online people please give their names?
So I'll start. This is Bill Winch with EPR.
Also Amanda Ponce from EPR.
See a couple of new faces in the crowd. You want to introduce yourself? Steve, is that you, Silver?
Last time, I'm still transitioning between my positions.
I think I made you a name tag. Oh, yeah. That's okay.
Public comment? Item 4, can I get a motion to approve the minutes of May 20th, 2026?
So moved, Gillis.
Second most.
Any corrections or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 5, we've got a presentation for roadway designs. Driver,
Yeah. So for the presentation today, I'm sure most, if not all of you, are aware of what roadway design is, its influence on driving behavior. But we wanted to take a moment to go over this topic due to the recently formed safety committee, the recently submitted SS4A grant, which highlighted that our region still continues to experience fatal and serious injury crashes, particularly on high-speed arterial corridors. There have also been some articles and reports that came out recently. New York Times did one about the influence of car size increase over the last couple of decades and its impact on deaths. And then Smart Road America did a report, which comes out every 2 years, called Dangerous by Design, which looks at the United States and metro areas and how they've improved or not improved in terms of traffic balance. And so from a couple of things from that, 2014 to 2024, the United States saw a 45% increase in pedestrian fatalities from 4,884 to 7,080. And they also looked at peer countries, the United States, and Europe, Asia, Oceania, and if the U.S. had national progress of those 34 peer nations over that 2014 to 2024 time period, it would have resulted in 63,441 less deaths due to traffic balance. So it's an issue that's across the United States. Illinois has seen an increase in traffic deaths over the last 5 years. So I thought it would be pertinent to have this discussion. So Amanda EPR will be presentation. They're a firm
Okay, well, thank you. Can you all hear me okay? This is Bill Winch. I'll turn my camera on for a moment here. Say hi. This is, can you all see the PowerPoint screen and hear me okay? Yeah, okay. Well, just by introductions, I'm Bill Winch. I'm a professional engineer specialized in traffic engineering. Been working with communities the last 34 years across primarily the Mid-Atlantic and Southeast, helping them with their traffic engineering needs and community planning. A lot of the discussions we have revolve around how to improve pedestrian and multimodal safety and slow drivers down to behave more safely, if you will. So with that, Amanda, introduce yourself.
Hi there. My name's Amanda Ponce. I'm a principal planner with EPR. My specialty, I spent 10 years in local government working for the city of Charlottesville as the bicycle and pedestrian coordinator. So bring a lot of active transportation expertise and, understand kind of what it means to get things done in the local community as it relates to improving safety for people walking and biking.
Very good. We have about a 15-minute presentation for you all, food for thought. As was referenced earlier, Smart Growth America, really important nonprofit that focuses on pedestrian safety and complete streets, among other elements of their mission. But they found that since 2009, there's been a 72% increase in pedestrian fatalities on the streets across the country. That's very significant and certainly relevant to this conversation and to the planning that's going on across the country. We know it's a lot about speed, vehicular speed, and mixing that with the multimodal environment. And we know that we can post all the signs, speed limit signs that we care to post, but people still going to drive the speed that they feel comfortable driving. So really, it's the road design that affects speeds and travel comfort for motorists the most. So we really need to focus on improving street designs, and whether it's retrofitting existing streets or as we plan new streets, this is really what we need to be thinking about for safety. So improved street designs need to be implemented universally. So that's kind of the focus of this presentation. As a traffic engineer for the last many years, we've been our hands have been somewhat tied with speed setting by the Federal Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices, which tells us that we have to go out and measure speeds, figure out what that 85th percentile speed is on that road, and that's what we should post the speed at. But often that's not the safest speed, given the context, land use context, and multimodal activity that's also occurring on and adjacent to the street. But in 2023, FHWA amended the document and gives us more flexibility now to consider context, safety needs, and multimodal activity when we set speed limits. So we have flexibility now to not have to adhere to that measured 85th percentile speed. However, even though we have that flexibility, we still know it's really the road design that affects speeds. So as you all know, as we all know, again, you can put up a speed limit sign on a 45-mile-an-hour road and drop it down to 25, but people are still going to go 45 unless the road design has changed. And some examples of changing road design that we're probably all familiar with, we convert intersections to roundabouts. So what does that do? That slows people down going through the intersection, reduces conflict points. A properly designed roundabout slows you down to about 20 miles an hour maximum to get in and through it. Much safer configuration. The statistics are in 90% rule of thumb drop in serious injury and fatality crashes. Similarly, we do road configurations. This is often where we have a 4-lane undivided roadway, often through a suburban area. We typically find there's a lot of left turn crashes. We have this pedestrians trying to cross 4 lanes. So there's higher incidences of pedestrian injuries and fatalities. But with the road reconfiguration, we will rethink the road environment and often drop it down to one lane in each direction, either with a center turn lane or maybe more of a boulevard style raised median with bike lanes. And again, it's a much safer road configuration. A lot of advantages to that. And what the research shows for roadway reconfigurations is, broadly across the board, a significant decrease in crashes, a lot less conflict points. So, for instance, motorists taking a left turn out of a commercial use have less lanes to cross. It's easier to judge what's safe. There's less exposed time for pedestrians. They're not exposed to 4 continuous lanes across the road. So we're reducing conflict points. Often we'll look to narrow the lanes while we're doing this. Instead of the 12 and 13-foot typical lanes, we'll bring those down to 9, 10 feet. Depending on the mix of vehicles. If there's buses in the mix, we're often thinking, minimum a 10th. But it's the narrower speed lanes that also helps to slow the vehicles down. It's road reconfigurations. So as we think about design elements and the benefits, there's a lot of advantages to really thinking about this. Again, speed reduction, pedestrian safety. Often we can help, particularly neighborhood streets. We get those scaled properly. We can keep some of the cut-through traffic out of the neighborhoods where there's more kids and walking activity. There are certain features we'll talk about that just create a psychological sense of you're in a place. You're not just passing through as a motorist, so you should pay attention and slow down. And these also have, particularly in the residential areas, benefits for noise reduction. So as we think about this, I mentioned lane width, and this is sort of an extreme example in that graphic. But often as we reduce lanes, we reduce speeds. Of course, this picture is a lot of congestion, but if it wasn't congestion, people could go pretty fast through there. We're also thinking about how streets function with edge friction, so parking going on, and enclosure, a sense of enclosure around the roadway. The things that can be done with minimal investments, either on a temporary trial basis or longer term, include like horizontal deflection. Sometimes we'll want to move the cars kind of over, back and forth, so they're not just looking down a long, call it the gun barrel effect. If you're just looking at a long flat street, you can really get your speed up. But if we move them back and forth in a chicane type configuration, it's been proven to slow cars down. Other features, the multimodal design, so we're incorporating facilities for pedestrian and bicyclists into the overall street environment between the curbs there, creating space for these other road users, really helps the motorists to perceive that there's a reason to slow down. There's other things going on within the right-of-way that they need to pay attention to and respect. These next few slides are really just sort of what we call the traffic calming toolbox. So when we're out talking to neighborhood groups, things that we might show them. We talked about the chicane, and again, these can be done low cost and for trial type demo projects using flex tubes and paint. Curb extensions, kind of similar to the chicane, but it just starts narrowing, having pinch points and narrow points for the motorists. Also good for pedestrian crossing, shortens that distance. Sometimes we'll introduce medians in just to have a narrow point and also change the context that the motorist might perceive that they're actually in a place and not just, blasting through a straight road. And of course, roundabouts, whether they're mini roundabouts at small intersections or full big roundabouts for intersection reconstruction. We often get requests for vertical treatments, speed humps, and raised intersections, and these are certainly advantageous, but we're not often employing these or deploying these on your higher order roads, your bigger collector roads, or your arterials. I think these are more typically suited for low speed environments. Residential, local roads is more the setting for these types of vertical treatments. There's that psychological sense I mentioned. So this is designing in features that make you feel like you're, again, in a place. So textured pavements, landscaping, lighting, kind of aesthetic features that, again, just affect driver behavior. Then, with the SS4A program, with the implementation side of that, there's a lot of emphasis on quick build demo projects. So I want to talk about some peer localities that have embraced this and are doing these types of features. South Bend, Indiana. Indiana has a neighborhood traffic program where they're deploying demonstration projects. Again, low cost, temporary curbing, cones, traffic cones or flex tubes for those types of features that I mentioned on the earlier slides. Really low costs and quick to deploy. And then you can do pre and post speed measurements and then decide if you want to make the bigger, longer term investment in these improvements. But they've definitely been found to help with speeds and safety. Here's another example. This is really just remarking a corridor. You all will have a paving schedule when you repave your roads, and it's really low cost to go in with a different pavement marking scheme with the repaving project. Kind of getting two changes at once there, a lot of bang for the buck, if you will. So this is a road reconfiguration project where the 4-lane was converted down to the narrower lanes and space for bicycles and parking, create that edge friction. So just types of projects that are considered out there. Now, when we think about improvements, they do come at a cost. So particularly the longer term improvements, that's called structural changes where we're rebuilding curbs, sometimes affects drainage. And it just costs more to implement these, but a lot of cities across the country will have formal programs where city council has either designated a funding stream or otherwise CIP funds towards these types of investments. Some examples: Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, has a transfer from the general fund of over $1 million, and I know that's a sizable city there for traffic calming projects. The residents can work with the planning staff and traffic engineering staff to nominate projects for traffic calming measures. Those are then prioritized and put into place, on a prioritized basis over time. And they've published that they found a significant benefit in speed reductions with their program. Columbia, Missouri, they put aside more than $1 million annually. Again, focused on these types of features we're talking about, but these cities have found a benefit and a reason to do these programs, and they're investing in the safety for the motorists and pedestrians. Why this matters for MPOs and localities, particularly MPOs. MPOs have safety targets with your long-range plans, so these can help you reach those goals. These types of programs can align with grant funding opportunities to leverage federal funds, and as well, it's good for certainly for community building as you start to build out complete streets. If you're familiar with that term, where you're accommodating other modes of travel, in the goal of placemaking and community building. But really, it's these planning decisions for getting behind these types of programs that really influence the safety outcomes through design. And again, it's the design that's so critical. So some things we hear out there is, drivers will always speed. That with intentional design, we can affect those travel speeds We often hear, well, yeah, they're doing it over there, but this won't work here. We would argue that there's a sizable pool of research and evidence across the nation for cities and towns of all sizes that these types of measures work. And then, of course, we often hear, well, you just need to get your police force out there more to enforce, because people will slow down when they see a police car. But as we all know, pretty much universally, police departments are understaffed, and just the resources aren't there. So it's really this implementation through road design that is everything towards this goal. Self-enforcing, visible, and continuous, and always present. So, key takeaways is, and I guess I'm getting a little repetitive, but road design directly influences driver behavior. The research is in, and it's proven out. There's more flexibility with the MUTCD. We're dropping speed limits. However, again, it's all really about the road design. And as you think about trying to get these out in your communities, a great opportunity of these quick build projects where you can prove out to council and others that, or your boards of supervisors or governing bodies, that with pre and post studies that you're truly affecting the speeds and safety. It's worth the investment, and it's just the foundation of that argument to start investing in these types of improvements. And the statement here, we don't just design roads, we design behavior. It's these features in proper road design for the environment that you're in is what achieves these goals. That's really what we have for you. Hopefully that stimulates some conversation amongst within your community there, and maybe it will help you as those conversations pick up to move some of these initiatives forward.
Bill, over days up. That's time for question and answer if there was any.
Always, we always get you in contact with Bill if you have any questions. Thank you so much.
Moving on to item 6, recommendation of the nutrition program. Laundry list.
Do them all at once.
Have any? Not that. Do them all at once. Motion. Second.
I'll go through these pretty fast. If there's any specific one that you're interested in, let us know. We can go into more depth. So we have the first two here are for Tazewell County. They're 2 tip projects for the Burr Road bridge replacement. Both of them are just being moved to FY27. And then one is we're adding some additional federal funding. So we have TZ21-01, that's just construction engineering, and then TZ-21-02. This one we are adding an additional $500,000 in congressional funding. And then we have a total of 11 public transportation projects. All these projects are just getting moved to the current FY27 program year. To highlight them, we have 2 transit center projects. CL2405 is to install signage and kiosks, and then CL-24-26 is doing some facility rehab. We have a total of 4 vehicle projects. CL2408 refurbishing diesel buses. CL2604 purchasing some diesel buses. CL2605 purchasing some hybrid buses. And then last but not least, CL-26-08 is purchasing some paratransit buses. We have 2 vehicle equipment projects. CL-24-09 is for a new fare box and validator system. And then T310-24-01 is for some passenger count equipment. And then we have 2 holdover admin and maintenance facility improvements from Sealy's admin building construction. Got CL-25-07 and CL-25-08. And then last but not least, we have Peoria County for Radnor Road. This is PC-27-01. And this one is just updating the congressional funding amount, increasing it by 500,000 to be a total of 1 million for congressional funding. That was really fast, and that's a lot of projects. So if you want anything specific, let us know. Yes, that is the correct. No, that's the correct. That's how we do it with 2310 funds. We just, yeah, it is a little weird. One of those things that no, it is, but no, it is something that we are going to change. We used to do it with our TAP funding as well. We went away from doing that and actually use the lead agency's initials instead of using TAP.
Favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number 7, recommendation to commission program FY 26 non-default projects, including the FY 5, 28, and 10. Thank you, motion. So moved. Meyer.
Yes. It's what everyone's waiting for. So first of all, thank you to everyone that submitted and helped grade the projects. I know that's a lot of work, so I really do appreciate taking the time to review and supply me with your grades. It's very helpful for staff. We received 14 projects, technically 15, but one project was under two funding programs. So 14 applications. Each funding category was reviewed independently by a selection committee made of your peers that did not submit for that specific category. And we took everyone's scores and averaged them, and then we took those average scores and then ranked the projects, and then looked at the total funding amount and did our best to fund the top projects. It somehow worked out well this go round to be able to fund all the top projects. So that was a nice surprise. But just to kind of go over a quick overview here, starting with preservation. For the STPG preservation program, the highest ranked project was the City of East Peoria's Centennial Drive resurfacing project. So this is a mill overlay from Main Street to approximately to the top of the hill. And after fully funding that project, that just left a total of $171,669 remaining in the preservation category, which wasn't enough to significantly fund any other projects. And then moving on to traditional funding, we there was two clear top winners that kind of rose to the ranks on this project or on this category. We had the City of Peoria Athens Street rehab projects. It had some pretty poor pavement conditions with several segments with a PCI value of 31 to 50, so indicating poor to very poor conditions. The project is termini is northeast Madison Avenue to northeast Adams Street. It'll rehab the roadway surface, replace curb and gutter, upgrade drainage infrastructure, construct ADA compliant sidewalks and ramps, and then improve multimodal access by supporting the current greenway project. There was enough funding in this category where we threw out the idea to recommend fully fund this project at 80%, which is not something we typically do. Typically do 70 because of the available funding. We thought 80% would work here. The second ranked, or actually, they both the City of Peoria and the Village of Peoria Heights were tied. But the second one here is the Village of Peoria Heights Clinton Avenue project. This is the project that had requested funding from multiple funding sources. They requested funding for STPG traditional and then enhancement funding. This project, this termini is Clinton Avenue from Knoxville all the way to Prospect Road. It's rehabbing the roadway surface, replacing curb and gutter, doing some high visibility school and greenway crossings, providing on-street bike lanes west of the Rock Island Greenway connected to the school, and then providing sharrows east of the Rock Island Greenway connecting to Prospect Road. And then there's some signal improvements at the intersection of Glen and Prospect. For this one, it was the tied for first under traditional and the top to rate project under our enhancement category. So it is recommended to fully fund this project using 1.128 million of STPG traditional funds, and then the remainder 432,000 in TA funds. And then after doing that, and that would also fund this project at 80%, there would be a leftover balance of just shy of $1 million to remain in the traditional category. The remaining two traditional projects requested the full $3 million bucket that was available under this program. So it wouldn't have significantly helped those projects or met the requirement of having 50% federal funding beyond the IDOT letting. So the thought here was to combine the STPG preservation leftover balance of 172,000 and the STPG traditional leftover balance of 974,000, which would amount to $1.14 million. And then that would allow us to fully fund the second and third rate pavement preservation projects. So that would be the Peoria County Cameron Lane resurfacing project in the City of Washington North Main Street resurfacing project. That was a lot. Before I go further, some questions or comments on that.
Michael, you mentioned that decided to fund having it at 80%. I think our bylaw says 70%. So does that take special action by the commission to allow 80%?
So I'm not aware of any official written policy on the 70. This has always been our practice. But I could be wrong. I've never seen actually written. I don't know, Eric, if you have a.
I mean, I'm fine with it. I'm just saying, I've been on this commission long enough, 70% all you've been.
Yeah.
And I really thought it was part of the policies, so.
And we could totally revamp that to do 70.
And I'm not trying to take money away from the city, by any means, I'm just saying, if there's bylaw issues there, we may have to do a separate motion or something. I don't know what that is.
Sure.
Yeah, just to speak to that, it's not in the bylaws per se. The only place it could be would be the STBG project selection policy, Michael, that we created a few years back that sort of guide this principle, which we just revised, a couple months ago before the selection process. The only thing I would say is that the commission could waive that based on your recommendation, or they could, if you did recommend 80%, they could throw it back and not do 80%. It's just sort of a audible call on your part if you want to go that route. The federal rules say we can spend up to 80% federal. We've always chosen 70 to spread the money out, and if there's a good reason to go up to 80, then obviously federal law will allow it. If there's not a good reason to do it, then we'll stay at 70.
My intention is not to take money away. I think the process is fine. I'm just, don't want to get us in trouble with the feds or whoever. So when you said 70,
Yeah, I'm not aware of any official policy. In our guidance, we do say 70% for like the instructions you'll were responding to. That's the only where I would know where it's written. And I have no problem going down to 70. That would just have us have a small balance left over, which is why I went to the 80. But that is a fair point.
And it seems like it would be more consistent with stating this, just because of the past practices.
It would. It's then we just have a leftover balance. That would be the only.
Sure.
Yeah. And to clarify, the reason why I was trying to avoid that for this one is the funding that we're programming here is just leftover SDG funding that we're trying to spend now.
The only thought process is big budget waters in the future.
Yep.
When people start asking, hey, I'd like that 80%.
Sure.
It is, I've been on here for 30 some years. So there is a reason why we did 70% way back then. And if we're consistent with this, it's going to limit the questions in the future.
It's not, it's like,
Technically, we could lose it, but luckily our IDOT friends do their magic over there to use the oldest money first, so we don't lose money. I'm only aware when we had money rescinded by the feds once, and that was for cap funding, specifically not for SDG funding.
97% of their properties are 50.
No. We could, but it would be a drop in the bucket if it wouldn't do much.
my intention was just, I didn't know if I was going to buy the law or anything.
Well, that's
So
good.
the process is fine. This is leftover money that wasn't programmed previously, so we're programming it. So I'm fine with how it is. I just want to make sure the group was.
Yeah, and I don't think we're at losing this money. It's just wanting to spend it down, just because we do have our IDA friends over there that manage money pretty well, so. But I am okay with however you guys want to proceed.
as far as a special, what Andy was saying, special, you know, acknowledging that there is past precedents, but for this instance to spend it down over
Yeah, I mean, that wouldn't hurt, that would help.
I think the key is identifying what's unique about this situation. Making sure that that's identified to address future issues where residents says, hey, just want to ask what what's the justification?
Right, and the uniqueness on this one is we're just, over the years, believe it or not, back in the day, projects came under budget, right? So over budget. So over the years of projects coming under budget, and then also with us programming out, we're estimating our allotments. Sometimes we get it pretty close, but sometimes we're a little off. And so that balance builds up. So we had a total $4 million balance from that. So we're just trying to spend that $4 million balance to give us.
So what's the actual number we're talking about?
I don't know that off the top of my head.
It's a math problem.
That's a math problem. Here. I don't think the totals, I just gave the requested. I don't have our full information. Correct. That is 80% of something. So that would take significant math that I don't know. That's why I'm not an engineer.
So on average, it's like $100,000. I don't know how many of your guys' that's fun, so it's hard to find.
Oh, you know, that's a good point. Mr. Hamilton, I think you guys requested a million, so it would have been. Yeah, for the heights. The full request was the 1.56, which is the 80%.
Right, but see, I didn't go 80%, like, it's two now.
Yeah,
I did the easy one.
yeah.
We're getting roughly 140,000.
Yeah, and it's just Peoria Heights and the city of Peoria that are being impacted here. All other funding programs already are at 80%.
So it's a total of 300,000 or 140,000?
Just for Peoria, Abington Street.
It could be 144,000 extra. And then for
Peoria Heights is independent.
yes. Yeah. Yeah. Your total is 1.9. Correct.
1.5.
TA always do.
Yeah, that's it. That is. Yeah. I can come up with that number, it's an after.
But if you change these two, do you have to then change the Peoria County and Washington too?
Like, these are already at 80%. So it's just the 140,000 sitting there doing nothing.
So who made the original motion?
Original motion.
Meyer.
Meyer.
And that was state with special circumstance or?
Well, I think up to, I guess, okay to amend that motion for.
That would be my most license.
So then we would have to vote, and if it failed, then we could do the motion.
So you mean as is at 80%? Because right now the motion is at 80%.
As is, this is not how it's.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah. And we'll make sure, that's a good point, I didn't think about having that in this, when discussing, so we'll make sure to have a discussion about that. They're aware.
Commentary or question? Take a vote. All those in favor of the motion, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Okay.
Item 8, formation of the FY27 special transportation study.
Yeah, I just need a couple volunteers, you know, two, maybe three, to help review our special studies application. We received a total of 5. The city of East Peoria requested funding for doing some signal and street light inventory. The city of Peoria requested funding for some asset management, data collection. Peoria Heights requested funding for a sidewalk inventory and plan. Tazewell County requested a highway crossroad over asset management inventory. And then the city of Washington asked for a Washington Square access circulation and parking study. So I just need a couple volunteers from communities that I did not just list.
Okay, so your hand go up 2 more. Oh.
Anyone else interested?
Jeff is on.
Oh, I was gonna.
That's the question.
All right, Amy, that's enough, but if there's anyone else that's interested. Oh, Amy. Okay. Well, I'll send some applications and a Excel sheet for grading. I appreciate you volunteering. For recommendation, yeah.
Number 9, updates, FY27-30 tip.
Yeah, and this one's just really quick. We're still actively in the process of developing our tip. We're hoping to have the draft plan released for public comment in this month, beginning of next month. So if there's any changes that you see that need to be made in our current tip or new projects added, please let us know, preferably by the end of next week.
So you need sheets for all the projects.
For the new projects, we're good. I have nothing, add information for that.
Okay.
Yeah. If there's any additional updates, that we'll need to add. IDOT, I'm totally different animal. I was gonna take care of you with administrative, or not administrative, amendment, whenever the new IP comes out.
We'll start to give you everything in your business.
Right.
Okay.
job, local roads.
All right, a couple things. New circular letter is out 20-26-07. It is the Local Highway Safety Improvement Program, or HSIP. Notice of funding opportunity. Applications will be received until August 14th until 5 p.m. ITEP, this is just a reminder, the cycle opens August 1st, ends October 5th. We've got a couple webinars if you want to go to those. One is technically today from 11 to 1. I'm not sure if you can get in it anymore at this time, but we'd be happy to try. And the other ones are on August 12th, 11 to 1, and on September 16th, 11 to 1. And then another reminder, the economic development funds are available year-round. Please reach out to your local roads representative if you have anything potential. This program covers up to 100% state route and 50% local road cost for construction or to include public roads that directly support the establishment or expansion of industrial manufacturing of distribution type facilities in the north. That's all I got.
Thank you, David. Question for David? Central office. HWA. All right, other next meeting will be August 19th. And
Michael, can you comment where we were at? Before this had meeting earlier?
Just working through it, and right now I just have East Peoria, and then,
Okay.
yes, thank you. There isn't anyone in. Just for what's original funded, we didn't have enough money for it. If there's anything extra. That's all I have.
So the ones that were in front of the bridge can't fill into this next one. So
Yes, it just, but we didn't submit an application to improve that facility. Right.
all in favor, say aye.